Yeah, so before I was only doing e-commerce, and with the e-commerce, I was making, I was making decent money. I was doing about $50,000 to $80,000 a month in revenue, and I've had more months too.
All right, so I'm here with my student Binda. Go ahead and say hi, dude.
What's going on, everybody? Nice to see you, man.
Yeah, good to have you here, bro. It's honestly, it's been a blast working with you. I'm happy to have you on the channel finally, and just sort of share really what you're going through, and really just the insane level of success, like the amount of input with the amount of output. You know what I'm saying? Like how much time you put into how much you're getting out, just in terms of revenue, is just, you've got your processes dialed in. I'm happy to be a coach helping you through the process. But go ahead and share where you're at now, how long it's taken you, just sort of the story of, Binda and where you're at.
So, I haven't been really coaching for that long. I started coaching around August or September. Mm-hmm. And that all kind of happened. It was a coincidence, right? So I've been dropshipping. I've been doing e-commerce for almost 2 years. So I've been doing that. And then at some point, I thought, maybe it's a good idea to make a YouTube channel and start teaching people what I'm doing. Yeah. Give them my insights. And I guess people really, responded to that. I started getting a lot of messages, a lot of people reaching out to me to help them get to the level at the level that I'm at, right? So I decided to take on a few students, started with that, and then it's just been kind of a slow snowball effect that it keeps increasing and increasing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's really cool too. I mean, you started, from a position of just genuinely enjoying it. I think a lot of people in your position start from, they start from, oh, I want to have a personal brand in this thing, so I'm going to try and figure this thing out. But you were just, you learned drop shipping, you got really good at it. Excuse me, I got a cold. And then you ended up teaching literally probably just because people saw your results and just wanted it, right?
Yeah. That was never the plan. It just kind of, happened along the way that people started reaching out. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I'll see how it goes. And
that's sweet.
People started seeing results. So after
that's awesome.
It was just kind of word of mouth.
It's awesome. Yeah. Do you mind sharing sort of the revenue that you drive like on a monthly basis with coaching?
So with coaching, it's anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000.
And that's monthly?
Yeah, that's monthly.
Sweet. Yeah, and that's pretty much all profit for you at this time because it's a no expense service, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not really doing any paid advertising. It's all organic. It's all from my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, from all my organic following.
It's awesome. That's freaking cool. Yeah, I love it. And that's the way to do it, man. He's got a small Facebook group of people that sort of follow him and see his results, and they just sort of track him. And I think you go live in there every now and again, right?
Yeah, so I do a live Q&A every week, just kind of answering everybody who's in the group, because I know I was at that phase a year and a half, 2 years ago, so I needed somebody who I could ask questions from.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so
right.
That's kind of why I do it. I just go live every week. People ask me questions. I pretty much answer them. It's pretty all transparent.
That's awesome.
And,
yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. So go ahead and share some advice to people who are trying to start like a small personal brand and, trying to follow the methods that I teach, as well as methods that you've really naturally followed. I'm just now sort of coming in, right? And I'm going to help you go to the next level with a course and paid traffic and all this stuff. But, like just share some advice and some just basic pointers of like, look, I want to, maybe they're in the fitness niche, maybe they're in really any niche, what do you have to say about building authority online, basically?
So in my opinion, the first step would be mastering the niche, whatever the niche is that you're in. Like I'm in dropshipping, right? So I'll consider myself pretty good at dropshipping because I've been able to pretty much repeat the result over and over again for myself and for other people. So if you're whatever niche you're in, maybe fitness, whatever, Amazon FBA. So first become a master at it, and then just start showing people how you do it. Put out content, help people, and once you start give, just like Eric, he says, give, and then ask. And in this industry, I didn't really have to ask people either. People started asking me.
Yeah.
Right. So started reaching out to me. So it just kind of happened. But my advice is just give back to the community, put out content, give as much value as you can, and the money will follow.
Yeah, I love it. And it's ultimately because you're driving a very specific result, because a lot of my students, they're not in the dropshipping niche. They're in the most random, crazy niches on the planet, right? So ultimately it's because you've gotten really, really good at driving a specific result, right? And then people want that result, right? And so explain the process of, going from a guy who, I know you still make money in e-commerce, but explain the process of going from a guy who was focused solely on e-commerce to now you're balancing e-commerce and the actual information business now.
Yeah, so before I was only doing e-commerce, and with the e-commerce, I was making decent money. I was doing about $50,000 to $80,000 a month in revenue, and I've had more months too. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I started I started to put out content. Once I started doing that, I started seeing that, okay, like e-commerce is not just drop shipping. It's way bigger than that, right? If I can teach people, if I can help people make money online and quit their jobs and try to live the life that they dream of, that's an amazing feeling, right? The first time I did that, when one of my first students, he quit his job, I had this great feeling inside me. Like I felt like, I really helped somebody kind of achieve what they've been wanting to achieve for a long time.
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome.
And that was around the time when I reached out to you, and that's when we started talking. And once, ever since we started working together, everything has been a lot more systemized.
Yeah.
So I've been able to take a lot of the time out of pretty much, talking to people and doing all of that, and have a system in place that's been doing all of that for me, and just bringing me leads and bringing me traffic to that's going to convert later on.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to work with Ben. I think we met each other just it was like a mastermind group or like a Facebook group or so. I actually forget how we met exactly. But I just posted in there, and then you shoot me this message. Yeah, that's right. You just shoot me this message like, hey, I got to work with you, man. And so it's been cool ever since. But yeah, so go ahead and share, so like out into the future, some of the goals that you have with your business. Because I know a lot of people, their literal dream is like to make how much, like literally today I made $3,000 from my coaching business, like just straight up, right? And like that's some people's dream. Like in a month they want to make that much, And so I mean, you and I were on a bit of a pedestal in this industry, and so like share, even like expand people's minds, like out in the future, what do you want to see done? Because it's easy to say, this is cool, like 8 to 15K a month is, I mean, that's a lot of money, but that being said, like, let's look out into the future. Like, what are some of the goals, like 2, 3, 4 years from now?
So, over time, I don't want to just be in the dropshipping niche. I want to be in the e-commerce business, right? And at the same time, right now, I'm only doing coaching, right? And with coaching, I can't really scale, because it's done by me. It's one-on-one. And there's only so much time I can spend with people.
Yeah.
Right? So the first thing obviously we want to do is, like we talked about, I'm going to build a course that I'm working on right now, and that's going to pretty much open up another income stream. And at the same time, that could impact a lot more people than people I'm impacting right now, right? Right now it's only a handful, but with that, there's not really a limit, right? It's as you can get.
Yeah.
So I would say my goal going down a couple of years is have helped at least 10,000 people quit their jobs. Right?
Wow.
10,000 people quit their jobs.
That's awesome.
So introduce them to the online world, because I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends, my friend circle, their friends, they don't really know about e-commerce and how big it is.
Yeah.
People don't realize how big it's gonna get. Like, this is just the beginning, and over time it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Right. Stores are closing down, and people are making more and more money online.
Yeah. It's awesome.
The sky's the limit, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree, man. It's really, really cool. And I think, in terms of revenue build for you, it's really just going to be a matter of like, I think leveraging the testimonies that you've already gotten. And as well as too, I mean, you mentioned how I'm coming in and helping you build out a course. I'm going to build a webinar funnel and all this stuff. I mean, that's going to scale you exponentially, essentially. I mean, really the reality is that, like, and this is just sort of for my audience, not just for you, Binda, because you already know this stuff is what we talk about on our coaching calls.
Yeah.
But for my audience, like, he's doing coaching, and coaching is working, and he's driving a very specific result. He's helping people scale their stores on Shopify with Facebook ads. That's like the specific thing. And like, you can take that and you can productize that service with a course. And so my real role as his coach is you already have this established coaching business. So let's productize it with a course and scale it that way. Sorry, I have a cold. I think I already said that, but it's really bad. It's freaking bad cold. And so what's exciting about that is that, every lead that is sort of scared to invest the high amount of money that he asks for coaching is likely going to view his course as the next option. And it's literally going to like triple revenue for him on a monthly basis, because he has a specific result. Now you can market that as a product instead of a service, and a product can be scaled. So yeah, go ahead and share some of the things, like, some of the, go ahead and actually share this instead of that. Go ahead and share, your experience on YouTube. I think it's really important too that people understand, like, look, you haven't put out, like, a lot of people think you have to put out like a buttload of content, but you've really only put out a handful of things. Go ahead and talk about your sort of strategy there, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you only have like 7 or 8 videos, maybe max, on your channel that
I think I have like 5 or 6, or there's only 3 that really took off, and those were. So I gave a lot of thought to what should I put on YouTube, because I didn't want to be another YouTuber who just puts out content just because they want to put out content, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to put out stuff that would actually help people. So what I thought of doing is I actually started a brand new store. So it was a case study. So I started a brand new store that I pretty much, I bought the domain, everything online in front of everybody, and then I took that store from $0 to $1,000 a day in revenue.
Yeah,
right.
awesome.
That's a lot more than what most people make on their day-to-day job. That's almost $300 to $400 a day in profit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Right? If you do the math, that's almost $12,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of people really responded to that, and they really started following the strategies that I was teaching them. And that's when things really started happening, because I saw that, okay, like, people are seeing success with the strategies that I'm teaching. And at the same time, I was only putting out so much content, but every single time it was like I would put out a video and I would get great feedback, and people are always asking me to be more consistent.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm working on right now. I think I already told you that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more consistent. I'm trying to pretty much map everything out and have it done on a weekly basis, right? So
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and that's the cool thing too, is I think, with Binda, I mean, I wasn't his coach at the time, but he followed something that I train people on anyway, which is quality over quantity when it comes to content, right? And though I think YouTube is biased towards quantity, like in the Impact Income program, I talk about how like it literally just takes one like good video for everything to just go, like crazy. And as long as you have the systems ready for that, which is what I teach you how to build in the program, like the systems for coaching, the courses, the webinar, everything, once you have the traffic, it just converts like crazy. And so Binda, I mean, his videos, it's like they all have like on average, it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know this for sure, but it's like 1 to like 3,000 views. They're not that many views either. Like it's just such good content.
Yeah, I think
right.
Yeah, the most I've gotten is like 1,800 views on one video. Other than that, it's all
that's
like
the most he's gotten. 1,800 views. That's freaking
Yeah.
crazy, man. That's so crazy. Because back when I was in the e-commerce niche too, I mean, I had like 11,000 views on a video, and I wasn't making that much in coaching. I just didn't know how to do it. I had 11 freaking thousand views on a video, and I'd like that video probably made me like $1,000, maybe max. I just because I didn't have the process in place. But he's naturally following the things that I teach, where it's like each piece of content isn't just out there just to grab traffic. It's out there to make you an authority, right? It's out there to say, look, I can drive this specific result. And if you want more of a specific result, there's a place you can go in the description, or if you're a podcaster, there's a place you can go beneath the iTunes, whatever, or like a Facebook ad or whatever. You send people somewhere, they've seen that result. So the specific result that he's driven is getting sales with Facebook ads on Shopify, right? So I think that's really, really cool that people understand that. And let's do this as well. I mean, there's going to be some people that are interested in you, Binda, just to learn more from you potentially as a coach and, in Shopify. So let's shift the conversation towards, what they can expect from you if they're from my channel and they're wanting to learn e-commerce.
All right. So, if you're wanting to learn e-commerce, number one thing, I don't work with everybody. I only work with a handful of people. I work with about 5 to 7 people per month.
Yeah.
Because, dropshipping is still my main source of business. So I focus on that. And this is just a secondary thing that I focus on, helping people, getting them profitable. But if I do decide to work with you, it's a 45-day program. And what we usually do is I walk you through everything that I know from A through Z that you need to know in order to have a profitable Shopify store.
Yeah.
We go through the store, optimize landing page to make sure that the traffic that you're getting is going to convert. We go to product research. We find products that are going to sell, that are going to make you all that money. And then we move on to Facebook ads, which is a whole another skill that takes about 2 to 3 weeks for me to just teach you everything and just kind of walk you through. And then the more you do it, the more you get better. But most of my students, by the time they end the program, they start seeing some results. They start seeing some profit every single day, which just keeps getting more and more.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's freaking cool. And that's the thing too, is, I think the reason, I think a lot of people think they can start a personal brand and just having a brand is what's going to drive it. But I mean, really, no. Like, you have to be able to drive a specific result for people. Like, I know that when we have the course launched for Binda and the webinar funnel built and all these things built out, all these systems and process, like, we're going to triple, if not quadruple, his monthly revenue from his personal brand. And that will compound out into the future because it will build his brand as well as monetize it at the same time, right? And so with that being said, like, I'm driving a very specific result. I'm coaching him with his personal brand. That's my result. What a lot of people think is they can just have a personal brand and just document, do whatever, and like kind of hope that something sticks, But that's just simply like, Binda is the perfect proof. And that's the reason I'm having him on, of all my students, is the reason I'm having him on my channel is because it's like his most viewed video is 1.8 thousand views. Like, that's not that much at all. And he's driving crazy revenue with it. So if you could for a second, Ben, to speak to like, the people who are trying to build a personal brand off of like fluff, and just like help me sort of voice this like pet peeve, because, there's a lot of people out there that will try and do that.
So what do you mean by fluff? Like stuff that
like fluff, like they're not actually driving a real result for people, you know? Like go ahead and basically just shoot them down and share why it's working for you and why it won't work for them, you know?
So one of the main reasons why I think it's working for me is because even though drop shipping, you know, there's a lot of people out there doing what I do, but at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of consistent results. So people who work with me, they, number one, they're learning the right system, they're learning the right things, and that's because I know the right things, right? So if you don't really know what you're doing, if you're not really a master at your niche, if you haven't spent the time, if you haven't spent the, you know, to put in the effort to learn what your niche is all about, then you can't really teach it to somebody.
Yeah.
Right? You can't teach somebody if you don't know it.
Yeah.
And so I would say if you're not getting any results, if you're not having people reach out to you and thank you for everything that you did for them, even though they paid you to do that, right? Because they feel the need to, because they feel like their life was changed because I stepped into their life and, you know, did all that for them. So I would say if you're not driving any results, then right now I would focus on just learning everything that I can learn, master the skill that you have, and then once you start seeing that, then work with a few people, work with a few friends, and see if you can help them see some results. And once you start seeing results that way, then use that as testimonials, or, you know, that just becomes kind of a word of mouth.
Yeah, that's powerful. I've actually never heard it put that way. Even work with friends or just like some local people, just because you got to prove it out. You know? Yeah, that's big. Yeah, I think too, people, and I agree with you. You know, you said I would spend my time learning about the craft and actually getting it right before I even start teaching it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think people, you know, they jump right into teaching it because they have just enough experience to begin teaching, you know? Because it's really easy to make money online teaching, you know? But frankly, you know, you look at Binda with his 400 YouTube subscribers, you know, and he's making more than most people with like 10,000, 20,000 YouTube subscribers because they just don't know how to work it. You know, they don't realize that it's about driving a result more than anything else, about driving a very specific result. And if anything, it's not like even me working with Binda, even coaching him, I'm helping with the systems and processes, and I'm helping him with all these things, and we're going to scale his business like crazy. But even he's like kind of inspiring me where it's like my content's kind of like here and there and a little bit everywhere. And I'm like, dude, if I just like showed people the numbers that I'm driving my students, like everything would change, you know? And I'm just beginning to realize that, you know? It's just very, very cool. But yeah, so go ahead and let's see how long this video been. 18 freaking minutes. Sweet, dude. Yeah, go ahead and close us off with like whatever you have to say just to people, to two things. Number one, people who are going to check you out, because guaranteed you're going to get people checking you out. And number two, like the biggest takeaway in having such a explosively successful personal, considering how long you've been in it, explosively successful personal brand and coaching business, and like what one or two things people got to focus on to really actually have a profitable information-driven business.
Okay, so the first thing that I think people should focus on is so once you start seeing, you know, big numbers, you start seeing results like that. A lot of people, what they do is they turn into a completely different person, right? And I feel like that's one thing that I really focus on not doing. So even till this day, if anybody comments on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna reply, right? I'm gonna personally reply, even if it's a bad comment, I'm gonna reply. And it's the same thing. Somebody DMs me for help. If somebody messages me on Facebook for help, I'm gonna reply and I'm gonna help them as much as I can. I don't try to sell my service. The service sells itself.
Yeah.
Right. So I pretty much just lead them into the funnel. I help them and I tell them like, oh, I have a Facebook group. I go live every week. So if you want to ask any questions, go to the Facebook group. Or here's my YouTube channel where I put out some content helping people with that same exact issue. And from there, people just kind of get into the funnel and they pretty much just follow everything and they ask me rather than me having to ask them. So that kind of just builds authority, I guess. Right? Because I'm not asking them to pay me; they're reaching out to me and asking for the service, right?
Yeah. So awesome.
Does that answer the question?
That answers the question. Yeah, it's like power versus force, basically. You know, I mean, people just want it, so you just open the door. You know, you're not pushing people in the door. You inspire a want and a desire, then you open the door, as opposed to having the door open and figuring out how to inspire a want or a desire. You know, it's very cool. And then lastly, you know, what people can expect if they check you out, because it's guaranteed they're going to.
Yeah, so, you know, check out my YouTube channel. You can leave a link down below in the description. In the YouTube channel, I'm going to be more consistent with the contents. If you want to learn anything about e-commerce, Shopify, how to make money online, you really just need about $1,500 to $2,000 to start with Facebook ads and all that stuff, and that could really turn into a lot more money over time once you keep doing what you're doing, if you have the right system in place. So if you want to learn e-commerce, anything e-commerce, Shopify, dropshipping, go ahead and follow my channel, drop me a follow on Instagram, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Sweet. Perfect. All right, thanks, Binda. Cool having you on the channel, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Trey. Likewise.
All right.